Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, November 9th at a quarter to 6 a.m. Eastern, quarter to 9 a.m. Uh, or sorry, quarter to shows I'm not awake. It's a quarter to 6 a.m. Pacific. Oh man, yeah, I'm definitely not awake. Did not get to bed at my usual bedtime last night, so I am feeling the effects this morning. But that is all right because we're going to look at the markets anyway. Quick reminder, of course, as always, please do subscribe and special welcome and hello to all the new subscribers we have had. We've been seeing you trickle in, and that is great. Love to see that people are finding these videos useful. And for all of you who are new, please do comment. So leave us something in the comments if there's anything you specifically liked, or anything you especially want to see more of or see done differently or anything like that. We are definitely looking for input on the format of these videos and what we communicate. We're doing this to help educate you. So give us some feedback. Let us know what you want us to do, and click that little alarm bell if you'd like to get notified right before I'm going to go live in the mornings and afternoons. So with that, let's just go ahead and jump into look at the markets. Overnight, kind of down. We're still sort of doing the retrace, really, is what's happening. I had projected that if we stop at this sell zone overhead, which was also the 61.8, which is, you can see it better on the 60-minute time frame, the 61.8 to 100% retracement level of the entire move, then we would likely retrace. And this is our projected retracement levels. So we're looking for. First level is a 38.2% retracement. And if we get that or anything less than that, then it's likely to be a very strong move to the upside. And there's probably a good chance of breaking through this sell zone, which is not an especially large zone. This is a minor zone. It's a near-term zone as opposed to the buy zone down here, which is much more significant as it goes back a long ways. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a continued pullback. Now, if by chance we don't get it, if buyers come in force and are so strong and so determined that they push the market up from here, that is extremely bullish. And then we're just looking for a break of this sell zone, and then it's really going to be off to the races. And I expect to see a test of this overhead sell zone as well very quickly after that happens. But first, we got to deal with this retracement issue. So we're looking for first levels of 38.2 retracement, and actually somewhere between 38.2 and 50, really. These are not exact lines in the sand. They're not exact precise levels. These are areas. They're ranges or zones. So 38.2 to 50%, that's the first level that we're looking for. And then beyond that, if the sellers are determined and the buyers are still shy, then we could be going down to the 50 to 61.8. And if buyers still won't step up, then it starts to get a little dicey. And then we're talking about basically a test back to maybe the top of this buy zone down here to see if that holds. And as long as that holds, then we are probably going to have made a higher low. So something like, maybe this, at which point we can make a higher high, and then we have a definite trend reversal. Once we see that level there broken, we have a definite trend reversal. So what we don't want to see if we're bullish is we don't want to see a break of that low, because that would mean a very likely test of the bottom of this sell zone, and then that's kind of our last line of defense. Is that, because once it breaks that, if it does, then the market is really, really weak and really in trouble. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen. But right now, there's a little bit of distance to be had. So if you're an intraday trader, there's plenty to work with. We have crossed the zero line on the Navigator to the downside. So Navigator has gone red. We did break below this trend line here, but it's flirting with it. It's sticking in that area. It hasn't just broken through and ran or anything like that. So that's what we're looking for if we're bearish. We're looking for some follow through on this to the downside. So watch those levels. Watch for a break of these lows, maybe after the first 30 minutes or so, 30, 45 minutes, something like that. Don't get caught in the typical morning fake out that the market has a tendency to do. So just watch out for that. Daily basis, of course, Navigator is still trending up, which is just basically residual from this big move up. But it's entirely possible that the Navigator maybe just starts to roll over here and come back down. And the Navigator also could make a higher low. If we get a higher low here, it's very reasonable that we'll get a higher low on the Navigator as well. Those two tend to follow in step. So that's what I'm looking at for the ES at the moment. Now let's talk about crude. Crude oil did break through yesterday. It broke through the buy zone to the downside. So the buy zone is now a sell zone because it's overhead, and it's just continuing to march lower. Now it is right this second. It's pausing at this former or prior resistance line, but this is a minor resistance line, so I don't really see this being a huge obstacle. I do see it being strong enough that we could go sideways for a little while, which is what's happening right now on the 60-minute. We're just kind of bouncing around inside the box now. But we did have some magenta indication of exhaustion, but we had that back here as well. So this just illustrates magenta does not mean reversal necessarily. It can, but it does not necessarily mean reversal. It just means exhaustion. It means the trend needs to just pause at a minimum. It could reverse. That's always possible, but it just at least means right this moment, probably not going to continue further. But as you can see here, since it magenta flashed at only about minus 25 or so, and we're not really technically considered to be over sold until we're getting close to minus 40. So there was still some room to go, and that's what it's doing. And it is right now at that minus 40 level. Like it's right in there. So the trend may be running out of steam here, and maybe it starts to reverse to the upside, or maybe it just goes sideways a little bit to work off some of this navigator, and then is able to break lower and challenge this buy zone down here. So that's really the point we're watching for. Now, also keep in mind, there is a magenta navigator on the daily as well. So even on a daily basis, this trend is really quite exhausted. So it could easily just go sideways for a bit right around this support line. So those are the levels you're looking for. Either a nice solid break of this support to test this buy zone, or it needs to hop back up into this sell zone and eventually get over it. And then get over all the other stuff that's overhead in order to really establish any bullish direction. So right now, no question about it, the bears are in control in crude, without a doubt. All right, gold. Now, gold has finally also decided to move out of this mess that it's been stuck in for a while. So gold heading lower at the moment, and it's looking like it's finally going to want to test the lower bound of this channel that it's been bouncing around in for a little while now. So big break. In fact, it's mostly just in the last hour or so. So it's definitely heading to the downside, and this potentially bodes well for the ES today. If these two markets, the ES well, not just the ES, but the broader stock markets and gold, traditionally are thought of as being reverse correlated or inverse correlated. Technically, they actually aren't really inverse correlated. They're just not totally correlated. Sometimes they do move together. Sometimes they both go up, they both go down together. But typically people think of them as being the opposite. When gold is down, the stocks are up. When stocks are down, gold is up, etc. So maybe this is bullish for the market. We'll have to see what happens after the open, obviously. But right this moment, anyway, there's been a break to the downside. We've taken out that low there. So the next test is very reasonably going to be this upwards rising trend line. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. If I'm watching gold, that's what I'm looking for. Can't really get bullish right now unless we really need to just get out of this channel altogether to really truly be bullish. Otherwise, it's just this congestion stuff again. So that's kind of what you're looking at in gold. Navigator, obviously very red and getting redder on the 60-minute, and it's only at negative 23. So there's definitely some room to continue to the downside. And on the daily, Navigator is still technically green, but it just keeps trending gently downwards. It's a slow move. This is definitely not a fast moving Navigator we have in gold, but it is heading downwards. So 21 EMA also going to act as resistance. So if gold is able to turn around on either time frame, that's going to be your first thing to watch for, is for it to be able to actually get above the 21 EMA. You can see for a while now on the 60 gold, anytime it pops above the 21 EMA, sellers just push it down. Pops above, sellers push it down. Gets right to it, sellers push it way down. So 21 EMA definitely doing a job on the 60 of holding as resistance. All right, let's take a look at crypto. Bitcoin has had a little bit of a move. It is down now, playing with the bottom of this zone that it's been, this channel zone, whatever, that it's kind of been stuck in for a little while now. And let me zoom out a tad so you can see that a little bit better. So it got up into that zone and managed to poke up above it, but then got just slapped back down again, and now is flirting with the bottom of that zone. So Navigator is very red on the 60-minute, but it's also pretty oversold. We are down at negative 43 right now. But as you can see from previous areas, it can definitely get lower. It's not like the -40 area is the wall, and once it hits it, then that's it. It definitely can go beyond that. We just start to think of it as, okay, a reversal is probably coming once we get into that -40 area, especially when it's combined, for example, like this with magenta. At that point, it was definitely going to be heading up. So in crypto, if you're trading crypto, I mean, on the daily, if you're a long term, a hodler of crypto, it's just stuck in here. There's just not a lot going on, bouncing around in a relatively small range. No trend really to speak of. And Navigator has not been able to get above the zero line. It keeps trying, and it managed to poke above it just briefly here, but then gave up. So crypto's having a tough time really getting any kind of momentum behind it. Personally, I take that as a potentially bullish sign because, frankly, when the masses are all over something and it gets frenzied and hysterical like it did last year, then that's too far too fast, and we get things that get to crazy bubble heights. So yeah, if you're a bull in crypto, you're still optimistic. It's looking good. This looks to me like a healthy retracement, normal healthy retracement in a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. So we do still have that in effect. What we don't want to see if we're bullish on crypto, the biggie is a takeout of this low here. We don't want to see that if we're crypto bulls. So the first line of defense is going to be this area here, basically this whole zone. And then second line of defense is going to be here. And then the last line is kind of this congestion area. And then the real last line, of course, is these lows here. So that's kind of what you're watching out for. If you are bullish on crypto, you don't want to see any of those. Now, if you are bearish, you're looking for a break of this channel and for it to hold below there and head lower. But like I mentioned, right now, Navigator's pretty oversold. So probability is it's going to want to just kind of go sideways for a little bit, maybe stay inside the box here and just kind of work off some of this overextended Navigator. So keep an eye on that and watch for any conviction to the downside for continued bearish move. But bigger picture, we're moving into this wedge. So the day of reckoning just is getting a little bit closer every day until eventually something's got to happen once it gets squeezed here. So it could go either way. Who knows? But that's what you're watching for, is just a takeout of this low back here. And to get bullish, we got to hop over several levels. So it's really just the same thing that I've been saying pretty much every day because crypto's not doing much. All right, well, let's finish up with natural gas, which did, in fact, hop right over the sell zone. So it picked a lane, it picked a direction, and decided to run. So definitely bullish in natural gas right now. Broken through that zone fairly strongly and are holding above it. Navigator has gone very, very strongly green on the 60. But we are up at 32. So we're not completely out of gas yet, but we're getting up there. We're getting pretty overbought. We don't have any magenta showing up yet, so we haven't hit exhaustion levels quite yet, but I expect that we could see that kind of at any time, maybe today, maybe Monday, but it definitely is up in that area where I would expect it to kind of want to take a breather. So right now, as a bull in natural gas, I'm looking for a retrace 2 and a test of this as support, and then potentially go higher. And as far as where higher, well, to figure that out, you got to look back in history. And we have a resistance line above and then another one way up here. So right about around 4 and then right around 440. Those are kind of the two levels we're looking for as a bull in natural gas. So if we get a continuation of this to the upside, if we get evidence that this zone, this sell zone now turned buy zone, is going to hold as support, then we are going to be looking for a test of this level here. That would be my likely next target. Now, keep in mind, though, that natural gas is obviously heavily being influenced by weather, and weather patterns can change quickly. So if all of a sudden this cold snap reverses and just dissipates and the storm moves away and the weather gets really nice again, then demand for natural gas could suddenly fall, and we could fall right back through this zone again. So just keep that in mind. Keep your stops sensible. Make sure they're within your risk parameters and you're comfortable with them, and trade accordingly. But right now, anyway, bulls are very much in charge. Very green navigator, very green navigator, and a break of a key sell zone. So bulls are in charge, and that would be the direction I'd be looking to set up. Just as always, take your profits when you've got them and trade with sensible stops. I think that about does it. Nothing new has happened while I've been talking in the ES this morning. Pretty sleepy at the moment, but I expect that to change in 30 minutes when we hit the opening bell. So looking forward to that. I hope you all have an excellent trading day. I hope you've ended on a green note this week. I know I did. So, oh, there's my notification that my time is up. So, as always, if you like these videos and you have not already subscribed, please do. We would love to have you as a subscriber, and click that little alarm bell if you'd like to be notified in the mornings and afternoons before I'm going to go live. And do give us some feedback. Leave us comments. Let us know what you like or what you'd like to see us do differently or anything like that. We're doing this to help you understand how to read the charts and how to read what's happening in the market actions. So we want to do that better. We want to know what you would like to see, what things you'd like analyzed, or what's helpful to you. So also a reminder that next week we are changing up the format a bit. We're not going to be doing it every day like we have been. We're going to experiment with just twice a week. We're going to go for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Fair amount of redundancy doing it every single day. Things just generally don't change a whole heck of a lot day to day. It's kind of saying the same things over and over. So we're going to see if 2 days a week is good enough and does the trick. And that frees us up a bit to work on some other things as well in the background. So Tuesdays and Thursdays will be the new format for a while. And again, just let us know what you think and if there's anything else we can do to help you out. So until Tuesday, I hope you have an excellent trading Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend. And I will talk to you all again on Tuesday. Take care of yourselves. Trade well. Bye-bye.